Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into Swallowed Star episode 200, where Luo Feng continues his path of revenge against the Devil Hand Emperor and heads toward the mysterious and terrifying Ice Hell Star. This episode takes us straight into one of his most dangerous missions yet. And just so you know, this is based on the original novel, so the Donghua might show things differently when it reaches this part. Before we jump in, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. So in previous episode we saw, Luo Feng returned from the extraterrestrial battlefield, shocked everyone with his new servants, escaped the Seven Swords King, cleared all 20 levels of Tong Tian Bridge, protected Earth with the Chaos City Lord's help, and set out to hunt the Devil Hand Emperor before heading toward Ice Hell Star. Alright, let's get started. Through the vastness of God Country teleportation and the silent drift of a living ship across the dark universe, half a month passed before Luo Feng finally reached the place where the infamous Devil Hand Emperor was said to be hiding. Along the way, he found himself murmuring in amusement that if it weren't for Tian Chen, things would have taken far longer. Out of all his slaves, only Tian Chen was human, while the others were various alien warriors. And Tian Chen, unlike the rest, had a whole cluster of Undyings under his control. Many of them humans, who had left countless teleportation markers scattered throughout humanity's territory over the centuries. For Luo Feng, it meant effortless travel through huge chunks of the universe. He realized just how beneficial his growing collection of slaves actually was. The older an Undying lived, the more places they had visited, the more markers they had scattered. Tian Chen and the others had accumulated these over painstakingly long lives, and now all of those markers essentially belonged to Luo Feng. For the first time, he felt the sheer convenience of commanding powerful, seasoned subordinates. Before long, one of the ship's AIs warned that they were about to exit the dark universe. The living ship slowed as it pierced back into the real universe, revealing the glowing presence of a massive green planet bathed beneath a blazing star. Luo Feng stood within the control room, staring out at the planet pulsing with strong life force. This was Devil Hand Star. Information from the Virtual Universe Company said this was Devil Hand Emperor's nest. They'd even detected his marker here half a year ago. But the virtual universe wasn't omniscient. They could only report what they could gather. And Luo Feng knew that someone like Devil Hand would not be easy to locate unless he wanted to be found. Just then, Babata's voice echoed in his mind, demanding to come out. Luo Feng released her from the world ring, and the tiny figure emerged, a childlike body clad in black armor, a masked face with red crystal-like eyes, and two golden horns framing her head. This was Babata after her evolution, strengthened by the heart of evolution Luo Feng had purchased for her. She now had a real physical form again, and her subsidiary AI handled her previous duties. But despite her new body, Babata's emotions were boiling, because today, she wanted revenge. She wanted Suo Luo Pu, Devil Hand Emperor, dead. When Luo Feng told her she had to stay close to him, she agreed, but the burning hatred in her eyes made it clear this wasn't just another mission. Hu Yenbo, her former master, wasn't simply a creator to her, he was a father figure. And today, the time for vengeance had finally arrived. With a thought, Luo Feng activated the cloud contact armor, and golden armor wrapped around him like liquid light, forming a faceless warrior of gleaming gold. Even his wings were concealed. No one would be able to guess who he was. He stored the ship away, and the golden-armored Luo Feng and the small black-armored Babata teleported straight into the planet's atmosphere. Babata urged him to move faster, but Luo Feng insisted on scanning first. His massive scanner swept across the planet, so advanced that even Devil Hand wouldn't detect it, while Babata, overwhelmed by emotion, realized she'd actually lost control for a moment. Luo Feng gently teased her for it, knowing how rare it was for a living AI to show such raw emotion. When Luo Feng finally murmured that he had found their target, Babata nearly burst with impatience. Not only was Devil Hand on this planet, but Luo Feng's scanner detected that he was heavily injured. The moment Babata heard that, she urged Luo Feng to go immediately. And Luo Feng obliged, teleporting himself and Babata deep into the planet's core. What they didn't know was that Devil Hand Emperor controlled this entire starfield. Despite being an undying tyrant, he'd never expanded too far, only 9 galaxies, and because he didn't meddle with the universe country's affairs, most powerful forces simply left him alone. Inside his palace, thousands of beautiful attendants trembled with fear. For 1,000 years, Devil Hand Emperor's temper had been volatile, and any small mistake could mean instant death. As they carried dishes of delicacies deeper into the palace, a chilling voice suddenly echoed through the hall, calling out, "Devil Hand Emperor!" The pressure that followed was overwhelming. The attendants collapsed to their knees, even the Undying managing them was forced to kneel, horrified by the sheer intensity. That pressure was far stronger than Devil Hand had ever displayed, meaning whoever had arrived was far beyond him. The palace roof exploded as a gray figure shot skyward, only to be intercepted by a dazzling golden silhouette. Luo Feng appeared midair and struck Devil Hand with a kick infused with profound laws. Devil Hand crashed down, vomiting golden blood as his body smashed into the palace ruins. The onlookers were completely stunned. Their invincible master had been kicked around like a toy, and the golden figure floating above radiated a power that left everyone trembling. Realizing he had no hope of escape, Devil Hand floated upward with forced calm and showed absolute submission. He addressed Luo Feng respectfully as Lord, admitting he couldn't escape from someone capable of teleportation. Even at his peak, he would have been no match, and now, heavily injured, survival was impossible unless he begged. Of course, Devil Hand's submission was only for show. He was already thinking viciously that every single staff member who witnessed this humiliation would be killed, if he survived. But Luo Feng didn't plan on giving him that chance. Babata's voice echoed through Luo Feng's mind, urging him to kill the murderer of her master. Devil Hand asked what he had done to offend Luo Feng, pretending to be clueless. Luo Feng coldly told him the truth didn't matter, because no matter what, today he would die. Before Devil Hand could even respond, Luo Feng teleported right in front of him and thrust a thorn, coated in Fei-mo poison, straight into his body. The poison corroded him rapidly. His golden blood spilled, and his body disintegrated entirely, leaving only his armor and world ring. Babata instantly grabbed them, staring at the fallen remains of her master's enemy. For a long time, Babata said nothing, just whispering softly to her long-dead master that vengeance had finally been achieved after 60,000 years. The pain, the relief, all of it poured out of her. Luo Feng shut off all sound, blocking the world from intruding on Babata's moment of catharsis. When she finally told Luo Feng she was all right and thanked him, he simply nodded. This was something he owed Hu Yenbo anyway. Babata returned to the world ring, planning to focus on training. With her heart of evolution, her path ahead was difficult but possible, though reaching Undying would still take tremendous time and luck. And with that, Luo Feng left the planet behind, leaving behind thousands of stunned residents who instantly began whispering rumors about the mysterious golden armored god who had effortlessly slain the tyrant who ruled their region for so long. Power in the starfield shifted instantly. Chaos would likely follow, but Luo Feng had no intention of watching it unfold. However, unknown to him, Devil Hand Emperor wasn't truly dead. Far across the universe, inside a burning star, a silhouette sat cross-legged, completely unbothered by the starfire swirling around him. It was Devil Hand Emperor Sua Luo Pu, alive through a secret body separation technique. He spoke bitterly to himself, announcing that Luo Feng was definitely behind the attack. He had suspected Luo Feng since the day Luo Feng bought Earth and displayed freakish talent during the genius battles. Everything pointed to Hu Yenbo's inheritance. He admitted that when he killed Hu Yenbo back then, he ensured the kill with a soul technique, but because Hu Yenbo escaped into the dark universe with a treasure, he never bothered to chase. Later, Luo Feng's rise became too suspicious, especially once Luo Feng returned to the Donghua universe country using Yun Mo planet ship. But Luo Feng's status made it impossible to strike openly. So Devil Hand gambled, hoping Hu Yenbo hadn't left anything that exposed his killer. But clearly, he had gambled wrong. Fortunately, he had prepared a safety measure, separating his god body into two parts. One weaker half had served as bait on Devil Hand Star. The stronger piece had been hidden far away, waiting to see whether danger would come. He planned to wait 1,000,000 years before resurfacing, but Luo Feng's sudden attack proved he'd been wise to split his body. Now, filled with hatred, he vowed that one day he would return to humanity's territory and take revenge on Luo Feng. Meanwhile, Luo Feng continued his journey, unaware that Devil Hand had survived. 2 years later, aboard the malevolent living ship, Luo Feng and his 12 elite slaves gathered around a crystal dining table. They celebrated. Tomorrow, they would reach the secret region, the Black Flower region. Luo Feng marveled at how enormous the universe truly was. Even after teleporting as close as possible, he still needed to fly nearly 2 billion light-years at 80 times light speed to reach the destination. His slaves discussed how isolated the Black Flower region was. None of them had ever been there, despite originating from various regions of the universe. Even the prisoners he'd enslaved, powerful as they were, had never ventured into this forbidden space. Luo Feng reflected on how the great being had hidden the third black metal board deep within Ice Hell Star, one of the most dangerous areas inside the Black Flower region. Even at full speed, it would have taken him over 100 years to arrive if he didn't have slaves capable of teleportation. During the long flight, their ship even encountered attempted robberies in the dark universe. It happened often outside humanity's territories, where law meant nothing. But no one dared attack them directly, because any ship capable of flying at 80 times light speed had to belong to someone dangerously powerful. After countless months, they finally entered the Black Flower region. It was one of the smaller secret regions, spanning only 160,000 light-years, tiny compared to million light-year labyrinths elsewhere. Most of it was accessible to Undyings, except for 6 zones so deadly that even Universe Venerable or Universe Knights could die. Ice Hellstar was one of those 6 nightmare zones. When Luo Feng's living ship arrived outside Ice Hellstar's boundary, he could already sense the ominous nature of the place. Great beings of the universe didn't care whether their disciples lived or died, that was simply their standard of trial. Luo Feng didn't dare teleport blindly into the region. Even Universe Knights didn't risk doing so. He used his scanners and flew cautiously. For 3 months he drifted at sublight speed, scanning every inch of space for danger. Then an alert suddenly rang. 2 officials level warriors had attacked the ship. Though their attacks barely scratched the vessel's monstrous defenses, Luo Feng instantly teleported out. He couldn't risk a disturbance alerting the terrifying entities deeper within Ice Hell Star. He saw a massive star river ahead, hundreds of millions of kilometers wide and filled with unimaginably cold water. From the river emerged 2 warriors of the E2O race, dragging their shimmering fish-like tails behind them. They mocked Luo Feng openly, trying to bait him into entering the Star River where the cold would reduce any outsider's energy by 1,000-fold. But Luo Feng didn't take the bait. He simply flicked 2 sealed stars, immensely heavy black spheres, toward them. The E2O officials panicked, unable to understand how Luo Feng's spirit force could remain so strong inside the Star River. But they had no time to understand, because the sealed stars tore through their bodies, the poison corroded them instantly, and their remains crumbled into nothing. Luo Feng retrieved the treasures and shook his head. The Star River was filled with too many unknowns, and he had no intention of charging into unfamiliar danger. He stored the living ship away and continued alone, flying at a controlled 100,000 kilometers per second, using his Sha Wu wings to reduce space disturbance. As he ventured deeper into the region, he passed frozen corpses drifting aimlessly, crossed massive star belts of freezing crystal flows, and finally reached the dreadful core. There, in the heart of Ice Hell Star, he saw them, countless frozen planets, glittering like deathly jewels in the void. Out there in the endless dark of the universe, Luo Feng hovered silently beside a sprawling galaxy, the stars stretching like an ocean of glittering dust. But he wasn't admiring the beauty of the cosmos. His focus was locked onto a single, distant point, a world so small it should have been invisible at this range. Yet Luo Feng saw it as clearly as a man on Earth looks up at the sun. The Ice Hell Star. With his current vision, he could see facial hairs from 10,000 kilometers away, so spanning half a galaxy with his gaze was nothing. And the moment his eyes locked onto that frozen orb, he felt it. A subtle pull, like a heartbeat vibrating across the void. The black metal board. It was calling him. He narrowed his eyes, tuning out the galaxy until only one icy star remained in his focus. The moment he spotted the exact star the mysterious great being had mentioned, he knew. The board was inside that world. His mission sounded simple on the surface. Enter Ice Hell, take the board, leave. But anyone who lived in this universe knew the truth. Simple never meant easy. Each Ice Hell star wasn't just a lump of frozen rock. It was a nest. A war zone. A playground of terrifying special lifeforms known as the Doku, beings born from extreme cold, shaped like demons, pure in body, pure in mind, but twisted by that very purity. To them, killing was neither good nor evil. It was simply entertainment. They felt no guilt, no hesitation, nothing. Their numbers were fixed, they couldn't reproduce, yet every single one was born monstrously talented. Rumor said there were roughly 1,000 Doku in this region, with 100 having reached Undying level, and 2 had ascended to the realm of Universe Knights. And each of those 100 Undying monsters owned one Ice Hell Star. Luo Feng let out a long breath. He knew all this already. Special lifeforms weren't comparable to humans at the same rank. If a peak human Emperor-level fighter had a base god body strength of around 100,000 times a Sector Lord, then a Doku Emperor's base level was 10 million. Before amplifications, before techniques, before laws. Just raw existence. Even the weakest of them was on par with the golden-horned behemoth, and that was saying something. This entire region was a death trap. Luo Feng estimated that with his abilities, he could maybe fight one Undying Doku head-on. But the moment he made noise, the others would sense it. And if those two Doku Knights decided to intervene, it would be over. Instantly. No one had ever escaped after being discovered inside an ice hell star. Just as Luo Feng finished analyzing, space began to ripple gently in the distance. A faint blur streaked out of the icy region, and a cold, crisp voice echoed through the void. Soft laughter that felt like it could freeze a soul solid. Luo Feng turned his gaze slightly. 3 figures burst out of ice hell, darting like icy comets. One was a graceful purple figure with a feminine humanoid shape, her body crystalline and translucent, armor-like plates rippling with light, and hundreds of purple braids flowing behind her like frozen snakes. The other 2 were green, tall, lean, shaped like handsome men with 100 braids of their own. Doku, genderless, but their colors marked their rarity. Purple meant rare. Green meant common. The purple one radiated a chilling soul aura. The green ones emitted a cold that froze flesh and matter. Together, they were a trio of walking disasters. They laughed, chatted casually, then shot forward at light speed before slipping into universe travel, vanishing without a trace. Luo Feng watched quietly. He could tell immediately, those 3 were only sector lords. But even a sector lord level Doku had the strength of a human undying and could universe travel like it was nothing. That alone told Luo Feng how clean the space around ice hell was. Any debris, asteroids, or space distortions would have been long cleared by the Dokus themselves. He would need another approach. Inside Luo Feng's world ring, the black-clothed Luo Feng gathered his 12 loyal slaves before him. He called Tian Chen forward and asked for the most agile, clever official under his command. Tian Chen summoned a small, crooked creature no taller than a meter, a devil shell monkey, an undying-level demon race official. Luo Feng assigned it the mission: universe travel, stealth infiltration, scanning, retrieval of the black metal board, and live reporting. He gave the monkey a powerful scanner and a rare permanent anonymous virtual universe device, the kind only high-ranking members of humanity could access. The monkey bowed deeply, terrified yet obedient. Once a soul was enslaved, hesitation was impossible. In the outer space beyond ice hell, Luo Feng activated the mini-scanner and watched. The monkey accelerated, reached light speed, and slipped into universe travel. 16 million kilometers away, it reappeared near the ice hell star, immediately scanning everything and feeding live imagery to Luo Feng through the virtual universe. The monkey crept closer, completely unaware of the horrors lurking below. It slipped through the icy world's barrier, unseen thanks to Luo Feng's scanner. Inside, 2 green Doku passed by. They didn't notice the monkey at all, and soon universe traveled away. The monkey smirked, believing Luo Feng was being overly cautious. If allowed, it felt confident it could kill those 2 easily. Eventually, it reached the deepest region, and froze in terror. Before it loomed a colossal palace of purple-green crystal, towering 1,000 kilometers high, radiating sheer pressure that nearly crushed its soul. The monkey sensed a terrifying presence inside and panicked. Luo Feng instructed it to ignore whoever was inside and to scan the entire star. It obeyed quickly. The whole structure of ice hell was revealed, a hollow sphere, like a cosmic insect hive, with the palace at its heart. The black metal board had to be inside. Luo Feng ordered the monkey inside. Trembling, the monkey crept through massive hallways, searching room after room. But as it passed one doorway, a pulse rippled through the palace. A furious roar erupted. An intruder. A purple Doku appeared instantly, powerful, terrifying. Luo Feng commanded the monkey to scan everything and flee immediately. It tried. But the purple Doku raised a finger, unleashing a frozen beam that pierced straight through time and space. The monkey's body froze solid. Its soul froze. In a blink, it shattered mentally and physically, and the Doku placed it among the other frozen intruders decorating the palace. Even in death, the monkey's final scan streamed through. Back in his villa, Luo Feng analyzed the structure. The palace was alive, refined, conscious. Anyone entering was automatically sensed. The black metal board was kept separately from a priceless ice hell starstone, worth trillions of mixed elements. A straight infiltration was suicide. But Luo Feng wasn't planning to enter as Luo Feng. He transformed the Mosha body, shape-shifting until it perfectly became a green Doku. Every energy signature, every aura, every detail was perfectly replicated. Unless someone scanned him deeply, no one would see through the disguise. The Mosha body universe traveled in, appearing only 6 million kilometers away, and calmly approached Ice Hell. And then, a voice called out, "Bei Fa." A purple Doku flew toward him happily, grabbing his hand like an old friend. Thinking quickly, Luo Feng played along, saying he was here to offer respects. The purple Doku grinned and pulled him straight toward the palace. The Dokus treasured each other. With no way to reproduce and only 1,000 in existence, each member was precious. They lived together for epochs and would avenge any harm done to their kin without hesitation. Inside the palace, Luo Feng was brought to De La Sha, the same Doku who had killed the monkey. Only now, De La Sha wore a gentle smile, radiating warmth and friendliness. The contrast to his earlier brutality made Luo Feng's skin crawl. Wu Ya, the purple Doku who had dragged him in, proudly showed him the frozen statues of past intruders. Luo Feng spotted the monkey among them, and many others from various races frozen across millennia. He also learned that the Doku had created a local virtual network across Ice Hell using countless quantum computers salvaged from dead invaders. A small digital world built from the remnants of their victims. Eventually, Wu Ya mentioned she was heading to the Shrine of Techniques. Luo Feng said he wanted to wander alone for a while. Since the shrine was mainly for Doku, she assumed he wasn't interested and left. The moment he was alone, Luo Feng sped to the black metal board's location. The 10,000 item shrine, a chaotic treasure vault filled with everything the Dokus collected from fallen explorers. Following the scan map, he located the board buried beneath a mound of items, felt its unique aura, and instantly stored it away. He began his escape casually, flying with a relaxed posture to avoid drawing suspicion. Near the exit of the palace, De La Sha's warm voice drifted toward him, asking if he was leaving already. Luo Feng replied politely he would return. De La Sha smiled and waved him off. Outside, Luo Feng didn't dare teleport. Teleportation would reveal his identity instantly. Instead, he flew as fast as he dared toward the outer boundary. But inside the virtual world, De La Sha was chatting with other Dokus when one casually mentioned seeing Bei Fa cheerfully interacting elsewhere. De La Sha froze. He realized immediately. The Bei Fa he met earlier was not Bei Fa. His expression turned dark, and his killing intent erupted like a collapsing star. He spread his god energy through the palace in a sweeping scan. It washed through every hall, every chamber, and brushed against Luo Feng's fleeing Mosha body. And in that instant, De La Sha saw the truth. This wasn't a Doku. This was an outsider. A thief. Wearing a fake life crystal. De La Sha roared, his fury exploding as he teleported. Teleportation among Dokus was forbidden except for emergencies. A ripple of space like that meant only one thing: an intruder. His teleportation sent alarms across the entire Ice Hell region. 10 powerful Dokus rose instantly. Even the 2 Doku Knights turned their attention toward the disturbance. Meanwhile, Luo Feng was almost at the surface. Just a bit more, just a crack of open space and he could accelerate to light speed and escape. But before he could, a crushing aura slammed downward like a collapsing mountain. De La Sha materialized in front of him, blocking the only exit, eyes blazing with murderous cold. His voice echoed like the cracking of glaciers. Intruder. And Luo Feng's blood ran cold. And that's it for today's episode. Thanks so much for watching till the end. You guys are amazing. Our like target is 300 likes, and I know you all can crush it like always. The next episode will be out as soon as possible, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. See you all in the next video.